The economy isn't broken. It's just not built for you. My name is Matthew, and right now I'm going to tell you why. Picture this. You wake up one morning, check your bank account, and technically you have more money than you did 5 years ago. You worked harder. You earned promotions. You leveled up. And yet somehow, houses are twice as expensive, groceries feel illegal, and retirement sounds like a fantasy invented in the 90s. So what's going on? Are you bad with money? Lazy? Unlucky? No. You're just standing in the wrong place when the money enters the system. Let's flip the script. Imagine a massive swimming pool. At one end, there's a giant pipe blasting fresh water into it. At the other end, people are sipping through straws. Now here's the key question: who feels the water pressure first? The people closest to the pipe. Always. Money works the same way. It doesn't magically appear in everyone's account at once. It enters somewhere specific. And whoever stands closest to the source benefits before prices adjust. This idea isn't new. It was described in the 18th century by Richard Cantillon. He noticed something uncomfortable: when new money entered an economy, it didn't help everyone equally. It helped the people closest to power first. Today, the king isn't a monarch. It's the central bank. In the United States, that's the Federal Reserve. When the economy slows down, the Fed doesn't send you a suitcase of cash. It creates digital money and injects it into the financial system. Who gets it first? Large banks. Major financial institutions. Massive corporations. Asset managers controlling trillions. They receive the new money when asset prices have not fully adjusted yet. That timing is everything. Let's run a simple scenario. Imagine interest rates are near zero. A large investment firm suddenly has access to billions in cheap capital. What do? They don't buy groceries. They buy assets. Homes. Land. Stocks. Entire neighborhoods. For example, firms like BlackRock manage trillions of dollars and actively purchase real estate and equities at massive scale. When cheap money floods in, they can acquire assets before prices skyrocket. Then prices rise. And suddenly the average person is told, housing is just expensive now. You're waiting for a raise. You're negotiating a 3% salary increase while inflation quietly runs higher. By the time your paycheck adjusts, the cost of assets has already moved. This delay is the trap. Early receivers buy before inflation. Late receivers pay after inflation. That's the structural engine behind widening wealth inequality. Here's the cruel part. You're told that if you just work harder, save more, budget better, you'll win. But if your savings sit in cash while the money supply expands, your purchasing power erodes. Quietly. Gradually. It feels like you're failing. But you're playing a game with hidden rules. Since 1979, worker productivity in the US has risen dramatically, while real wages have grown far more slowly. That gap isn't random. It reflects how asset inflation outpaces wage growth. Now comes the part people don't like hearing. If you only earn and never own, you stay downstream. The wealthy aren't just high earners. They are owners. They own real estate, broad market index funds, businesses, scarce commodities, assets that cannot be printed. When new money enters the system, these assets tend to rise with it. Here's something that sounds backward. In an inflationary system, fixed-rate debt can actually work in your favor. If you borrow at a fixed rate to buy an appreciating asset, you repay that loan with future dollars that may be worth less. It feels counterintuitive because we're taught debt is bad. Unproductive debt is bad. Strategic debt tied to appreciating assets is different. There's another lever. Income velocity. If your income is fixed and slow to adjust, you're always behind inflation. High demand skills. Ownership in a business. Performance-based compensation. These allow you to adjust pricing power faster. Your labor is an asset. Treat it like one. The system isn't random. Money flows somewhere first. You can't stop that flow. But you can decide whether you remain the last person in line, or start positioning yourself closer to the source by owning assets that benefit from expansion. The question isn't, is the game fair? The question is, do you understand the rules? If this reframed something that's been frustrating you for years, subscribe and join me for the next breakdown. Let's learn the rules before we play the game again.